So, in just about every season of Overwatch Competitive, I pick some new characters that I want to play. And most of the time, I'll just pick a main at the beginning of the season because I really like trying out different characters, seeing what's working, and overall trying to get better at the game in general rather than just one character. Now, this can sometimes hold me back from ranking up, which I do know I need to just stick with someone for a lot of seasons, but it has been a really fun time for me. This season, though, in particular, though, I decided to not pick a main character to try out for this season, and instead just fill for about a month, find out who I like, and go on from there. And while filling, I've kind of found out that there are a lot of problems that come with filling, and that honestly, at least for me, it just doesn't really work to rank up in Overwatch Competitive. Now before we begin, I'm going to say, yes, I have been able to stay at about the same rank for this entire time. I haven't really been dropping, but I haven't really been climbing as well, and I think that's probably one of the main problems about this. I've just kind of been stuck while filling, and while I've been finding my characters that I want to learn, yeah, filling itself hasn't really been helping me out way too much. And I guess before we begin as well, I do want to say that if you are a player that, you know, has been filling a lot in the past, but now you're hearing this for the first time, so you're like, hey, okay, whatever, I'll just play one character only, I'm going to say that's also probably not the best idea. What I'm going to recommend, and this is what I'm going to try to do this season, is play one hero and then at least one other hero in a different role. So this season I've kind of been deciding between Reaper, D.Va, and Lucio. I've been trying them all out, seeing who I want to play, and waiting until the Reaper buffs come out before I really decide on him or against him. But I've decided, whatever, those are the three heroes I'm going to play this season, and I'll pick two of them and play them as much as I can, and try to pick one to main, but still have a off main that I can go to if I need to. And I think that's kind of a better solution, to have a support or tank to play as your other character instead of just filling as whatever your team needs. Because honestly, filling just random heroes that your team might need makes so that it's hard for you to actually rank up at all. And I think I'm gonna kind of go over this right now. A problem that I've been having a lot by playing, you know, just a lot of random different heroes that the team thinks might work here, Winston, Orisa, a lot of tanks obviously, and a lot of supports too, is that honestly, I just feel like I am about average on all these heroes. And for a lot of players, I think they might feel even a little bit below average on that hero. And a big problem about filling, I think, that a lot of people kind of forget, is that there's almost no way that you personally can really carry that game. I mean, there is the benefit for your team that you are playing a good character for your team, and it should be easier on your teammates. But let's say the enemy team has a good team comp just by pure luck, plus they have somebody that's actually good at the hero that you're playing on the enemy side. Yeah, how are you going to be able to carry that game? And that's kind of where I've fallen into. I'm winning about 50%, losing about 50%. It really just depends on team comps. And that's not something I really think a lot of players kind of want to be stuck in a situation where, hey, let's hope that maybe me picking a good team comp will win 60% today, instead of, you know, just trying to carry by getting better at the game. I think that is a problem that does come with filling, and why personally I'm not really going to continue to do it. And instead, again, I'm going to just have one main character and one off character that I can go to if my team does need a slightly different team comp. And I would also recommend right here that your off character is one that can fit a lot of different team comps. So let's say Mercy, because she can fit just about everything, and let's say maybe like D.Va, because you can also fit just about everything. Don't pick somebody that can only fit one team comp, like maybe Winston. That might be a little bit harder. That's a bit of a side note. But I do think that that is some important stuff to keep in mind. It is kind of hard to do a lot when you're playing heroes that you don't have much time on, especially compared to people on the enemy team that might have a lot of time on their heroes. And one thing I also want to say right here is that a better team comp doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win that game. And I've had many times where I have a much better team comp. You know, I'm picking Winston with our D.Va, we have a Lucio, we have a Zen, we have a Tracer, we have a Genji, we have the perfect dive comp. We go in against the enemy team comp, it's a quad DPS, just really stupid team comp, and we still lose. And I think one thing a lot of people might need to keep in mind is that team comp, while it does make your chances easier to win, I think the most important thing to win a game is the plays within that game. And if you can become very good at your character, well, you can make a lot more plays. And by filling, you aren't really giving yourself the time to get very good at any character, because you're just kind of playing everybody, playing whatever your team needs. And while yes, again, that can help. I think in the current moment, I think in the long term, it kind of hurts you. And I think that's generally how I think about filling. Right now, if I fill this game, that's probably a somewhat good idea because we'll have a better team comp, a good chance of winning, whatever. But if you look at it in the long term, and if I fill every game for like 100 hours, really, how much better am I going to become? I'd say not that much better. Maybe a bit, but not way too much, especially compared to if I tried to play, let's say, 70 hours on Lucio and then like 30 on D.Va. I think that's kind of how I've decided to think about the game, and that's kind of where I'm going to go for the rest of the season, mainly focusing on a few main heroes, trying to get the big plays myself instead of just hoping that, you know, it'll kind of work out because I'm setting up a good situation for my teammates. Because, yeah, a lot of the times your teammates just won't do the best. And I have a really good example of how if you are a good player, you can win with just about any team comp. A few days ago, I was playing D.Va, and we had a Winston on our team. And then we had triple DPS and one healer. And the first round, nothing was really happening. We were trying to go for kills, but nothing would die. The DPS was getting just about no kills, and we lost pretty hard. The one after that, though, me and Winston would just always call out every single time to each other, not even with any of the DPS, but just with each other, who we're going to dive on. We'd kill the enemies in Yada, go after other people, and from there, we actually won the second match and the third match. I think if I was a player that normally didn't play much D.Va, I probably wouldn't have enough confidence to do that if I was just filling her. But by having a lot of time on her, I could make a bad situation, that being just having a terrible team comp, into an alright one that I could win with. That is an exact scenario, but I think that can apply to a lot of different scenarios in the long run. And I guess something else that I should also mention right here is that if you are a person that's just filling every single game, again, yeah, you'll probably be able to rank up in the long run with a lot of hours. But I think for a lot of people, you won't get that much better because you don't really think that you have to get better at that hero. Because I think, at least for me personally, when I was trying to do this, let's say I play Ryan, but only for like 20 minutes on my whole account this season. I mean, I wasn't really trying to improve that much on him. I was just trying to play him to the best of my abilities, but I wasn't really looking at my mistakes. I wasn't looking at what I could improve on. I wasn't looking at really anything. I was mainly just looking at how my teammates are performing around me and how I can increase their chance of winning the most as well. And while that is, I think, okay, again, I didn't really feel the drive to get that much better myself. And maybe that doesn't apply to everybody, but I think that should be a thing you look at yourself and ask, if I'm playing everybody, I mean, am I really going to be trying that hard when I'm in game? I see a lot of accounts just with 200, 300, 400 hours in competitive in a single season, but they have so many different heroes and they're just stuck. Maybe that could be one of the reasons. And I guess something I should mention right here is that if you are a person that likes to fill and you like to play a lot of different characters, that's still okay. But I'd recommend maybe just pick 5 different characters that you're going to play. You can still fit just about every team comp, but you aren't going to, you know, have no motivation. You're at least going to have your main heroes that you want to improve on. Let's say Junkrat, Tracer, plus, you know, let's say Mercy and Lucio, plus Reinhardt. You still have your main heroes that you want to get better at. You're still going to actually probably try with them, but you can still have a lot of different experiences. I think that really kind of is the best of both worlds if you're in one of those situations. And, you know, maybe kind of think of it like that if you possibly can. Now, one final thing I want to mention right here is just to people Diamond and below. Well, just below Diamond, I mean. A problem about filling is that your stats are never going to be that amazing. And the way that the game works is that there is still performance-based SR everywhere below Diamond. So you could have below a 50% win rate, but if you have really good stats, just because you one-tricked a person or mained a person that had a side main, you could have ranked up a lot faster. And you could essentially have below a 50% win rate, but still rank up. That's never really going to happen if you're filling. And I think that's another thing to kind of keep in mind when you are deciding to fill every single game. Now, to kind of finish off, I do want to say that yes, filling can be a good way to try heroes. And if you're really tilted, which I sometimes do, I'm probably one of the most tilted players I know. If you get tilted a lot, filling can be nice to just have you go Mercy and just play the game, not try way too hard. But again, if you want to rank up really bad, playing just 2 heroes probably is the better way to go on this. And as well, I guess I want to say that filling can make you focus a lot more on your communication with your team, which can be a good thing. It can make you think more about the map, how you're supposed to play it, how your team comp works, and maybe get you better at the game in general, of course. But as far as, again, ranking up and working the system, I guess, as you could say, so that you could show off your rank or, you know, get some accomplishment out of that, filling doesn't really support that way too well. And maybe in the future this will change somewhat. I kind of hope that it does because, you know, we could always use more fill players, but that's just kind of how it is right now. And that's why I personally would honestly recommend to not fill in Overwatch competitive if you want to rank up. But again, I would say right here, as another disclaimer, please learn at least one character in a second role so that you can still at least fit into most team comps and so that you aren't playing DPS every single game, no matter how bad your team comp is. That's not something I want you guys to be doing. But as well, I don't want you guys to be playing every hero in the entire roster, which is something I see quite often. But anyways, as always, guys, that had just been my own personal opinion, and if you have your own opinion, please leave that down in the comment section down below. I just wanted to talk about filling because, again, I've been trying it out. I saw that it didn't really work for me, but maybe it's worked for you, and if it has, please leave that down in the comment section down below as well. Anyways, as always, guys, though, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a wonderful day.